So, about a week ago, over in Milwaukee, there were like about five or six pick and save locations. Pick and save is actually owned by parent company Kroger. Um, they all of a sudden closed shop. Uh, but before they did close shop, there were a lot of folks around in this one area in Milwaukee. I believe it was on 35th Street, and it was somewhere on 35th Street, as far as I know. But they did say to themselves, they were out there protesting and being up in arms about that particular location, which is now closed, by the way. It's literally the only place where they can buy food and whatnot for their place of residence. Well, I'm going to say this right here. I used to work in retail. Let me be clear. I used to work in retail, and there's this thing called shrinkage. And if a retail establishment, ends up accumulating tons of shrinkage, that can be that could be really detrimental to the point where they have to say they're going to have to pack up and leave and go elsewhere. Because here's the thing, some of those areas, particularly that one where everybody was protesting at that one former pick and save last week, literally they what they were doing was just what was going on over there. It's in an area that is known for high crime, and that is one store in particular. That was one store in particular. That was one store that was literally known, that was commonly hit by shoplifters. And when too much shoplifting goes on at a store, you know what? That store is like saying, because of that, we're going to have to pack up and leave. We're going to have to sell our business elsewhere, probably in a more safe and neighborhood. The residents in that area literally flipped their you know what, because you know let's just say this: uh, Milwaukee is a Milwaukee is a very liberal city in Wisconsin. Same here in Madison, which is where I live. But Madison is the most liberal city in all of Wisconsin. Come to think about it, but it's quite ironic. Some of the retail establishments here in Madison, you know, given I mean, do not have those same issues like they do over in Milwaukee. But that's another rant. That is literally another topic. I'm getting a little off topic here. I'm just going to go on and say this: all those people out there who are protesting and saying that we need to have food for our community, this that and the other. I'm gonna tell you this: they're literally nothing more than just renowned socialists. They obviously want to promote socialism anyway, because and when you think about it, socialism turns into communism. Now, let's also say this right here: there was a time, this was on before I was even alive, uh, when, and definitely long before I even moved up to the state of Wisconsin, that Milwaukee once voted for a socialist mayor, even though, to tell the truth, every mayor, to tell the truth, Milwaukee as a city has been voting Democrat since 1908, much longer than the city of Chicago, which was voting Democrat since 1931. And speaking of Chicago, this is a very similar. I mean this. I mean what. I mean when Kroger started closing up those pick and save stores in Milwaukee. You know, I remember months back, um, Aldi in the neighborhood I stayed at in Chicago, they actually closed shop uh, for the very same reason, and the residents there were up in arms about that. Uh, it was also a similar situation when Walmart, because I remember a time when there was a Walmart in one part of the south side of Chicago where that got closed. And why did it get closed? Very similar reason why the Walmart, why all the pick and save stores, especially that particular one in Milwaukee, had closed shop. The truth of the matter is, they had it coming. I mean, they can only blame themselves. They, especially with all the policies they keep voting for, especially if you factor in that, you know, that certain type of people in that particular area don't follow. I mean, have followed the literally have followed the quote unquote no snitching policy, no snitching rule of whenever a certain criminal activities go on in that area. So in theory, yeah, like I just said, they can only blame themselves. And yeah, if you have to go if you have to go way over to a further neighborhood so you can shop for groceries and whatnot, so be it. I mean, I had to do that when I was living in Chicago. I mean, I was living in a rough neighborhood. Now, I didn't, and there was really not much of a selection of good grocery stores where I lived at while I resided in Chicago. But yeah, it literally is what it is. I mean, yeah, there are some of those patrons of that former grocery store. I mean, of that former pick and save store. Um, they had to, some of them had literally had to walk, around the corner to get it. I mean, to go there. Some of them took public transit just to go there. I mean, you know, yeah, they had to make do of how to get there and back. But you can always, but you can always go, even further on. Yeah, I mean, if you have to, go to, drive, up yonder just to go to a much further neighborhood or a community to find to do shopping for groceries. I mean, so be it. I mean, you're just going to have to make do with what you need to do. And but yes, I would think the neighborhood and the community, blame can blame themselves for it. Now, I did hear that they're going to set up some mobile food shops for the time being. But I mean, and supposedly their local state senators are supposed to help them out. Well, I mean, and because and given their political affiliation, which happen to be Democrat, I'm gonna tell you, good luck with that because they are nothing. They literally don't give a rat's keister about you. About you, and I've seen it all from time to time, especially when I lived on the far south side of Chicago. But that's all I gotta say. I'm Chuck Johnson, a.k.a. Kid Thunder. I am signing off.